Welcome to today's episode. I am joined today by the amazing Sean Cannell. If you guys don't know him, he's pretty much the video YouTube ninja of today's day and age. Sean, I'm so excited that you're here.
No, I'm excited to be here and to be hanging out with you and hanging out with your community. And I'm just pumped about YouTube and life.
Oh my gosh, so many things to talk about. But before we dive into all the juicy content, for those people who maybe don't know about you or your story, I would love for you to kind of fill us in a little bit about who you are in relation to the YouTube world.
Absolutely. So my passion is to help people build their influence, income, and impact with online video and YouTube. And that starts back years ago. It actually starts all the way back in 2003. I was actually volunteering at just my local church in a small town an hour north of Seattle. And the youth pastor handed me a video camera and said, "Hey, start making some video announcements." And Jen, I do not want you or anybody to ever see those videos from 2003. And maybe people watching can relate. Like, your first videos are never your best videos. Like, your first couple of lives, those are fun to go back and watch. You're cringe, like the cringiest moments, right? But that's when I started, like almost 15 years ago. And I started just doing videos. And one of the things that was interesting was I would do them weekly. I would do these weekly video announcements, and YouTube hadn't even started yet. But I was learning the discipline of creating consistent content really before social media started. And that was so helpful for me. Eventually, the senior pastor was like, "Hey, can you make these on Sundays as well?" So I was making 52 videos a year, once a week. Then it was 104 videos a year, twice a week. And so it was like this learning period. Fast forward, I started a media business in 2009 called Clear Vision Media, did some commercials and videos for small businesses and some YouTube consulting and coaching. And I was really on the backside of things. Then a few years later, I kind of stepped into the forefront with all of this, time in video, whether being on camera, whether interviewing people, whether shooting video, editing video, and really started to help people get massive results with video, because I really believe video is taking over. Right? I mean,
oh my God, yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg was like, by 2019, most of Facebook is going to be video. Cisco said by 2019, 80% of the internet is going to be video. So when it comes to even live streaming, Facebook Live, YouTube, when it comes to stories, people really need to learn how to share their message, build their brand, and build their influence with video. And it's my passion to help them go further, faster, and do that.
I love it. So I loved what you said about just that you did 52 videos and then it was over 100. What does that level of immersion do for you as a creative?
Well, I mean, it's like that. It's the same level of immersion of in any field. Like if someone's, listening and they're like awesome at yoga, like day one, they probably couldn't touch their toes. I couldn't. But then it's like immersion is where you begin to develop mastery and you start doing more advanced poses. And by just putting in the time, and it really doesn't matter if you have talent. I think talent is so overrated. Sure, it can help, but anyone who ever achieved greatness is because they put time in. Michael Jordan, it's not like he never practiced. Time in the gym, shot after shot, time in the lifting weights. And so that level of immersion absolutely in video completely helped, me learn a lot of things. People say, "How'd you get so confident on camera?" I was like, well, I wasn't initially confident on camera. Yep. You just do it that many times and your confidence builds. And so I always like to encourage people to immerse themselves. It's always good we want everything to be right before we start. But if that was the case, we would never start. So I encourage people, start before you're ready, just dive in. And absolutely, I think that training is good. We should always be learning, listening to shows like this, but doing the actual work is where you get the greatest lessons and learning.
Amen to that. I love it. So when you first started, what year did you start on YouTube?
So actually 2007 was when I started managing my church's YouTube channel. Okay. So I started to learn like thumbnails, titles, videos. Mm-hmm. I wasn't doing it right, but at least I was doing it and kind of doing some things. 2009, I think, is when my Sean Cannell channel started, just as a side project. And again, I was able to just kind of dabble on that channel, but I kind of want to maybe put a pin there and say, what's awesome about YouTube or anything, and probably a lot of people are listening, they have a side hustle. Mm-hmm. Maybe not doing this full time yet. And so that's how YouTube was for me for a while. And we could talk about how we monetize that. But even as early as 2010, I started to experiment on YouTube and doing affiliate marketing. And for my wife and I and our family, we started to be like, whoa, we can grow our influence here. But we started to make $5 a month. Not much, but then it was $50 a month. Then it was 250 extra dollars around Christmas. And then fast forward, eventually we built a full-time income. And so, yeah, we've been doing it for a while.
I just want to highlight that consistency because a lot of people come into stuff like this going, well, I only made $5, but there is $50 and then 100 and then six figures on the other side of that with that level of consistency. And you're saying it took you, 7 years to get to this place where you've got so many videos out there, you've got so many systems developed, and you've really gotten to that level of mastery on YouTube.
Yeah, and I totally agree 100%. And I think that one of my passions is that I would never want to promise somebody overnight success. Like, hey, you could do something and just overnight it could happen. But what I really believe is that if you get wisdom and you get strategies and you get somebody who, much like you or myself, of course, we have always done coaching, we invested in courses, but a lot of times we've had to pioneer ourselves. You're trying to, blaze a trail. What I really believe is that when you learn from things like this and it gives you a shortcut, so it doesn't have to be 7 years, maybe it's only 2. And we're seeing people getting results in like 6 months, 12 months, but you still got to put in the work. You still definitely have to put in the hustle.
Absolutely. With that, how much strategy do you think is needed in 2017 to really, quote unquote, make it on YouTube?
I think that strategy is needed on all platforms, including YouTube. And I think that I like that you said this year, 2017, because in 2010, I think it was okay if you were playing checkers on YouTube, which is takes some strategy, but it's not the most strategic game. So if you're just like sort of good and better than the other person, you do a few things right, you can win at checkers. Whereas in chess, that's not the case. And I think that the difference in 2017 is I still feel like there's just as much opportunity as there ever has been, that it still really is like the golden era of this massive, what I like to call is digital real estate. Still plenty of space for people to plant their flag, build their brand, really establish themselves and create a legacy of business on YouTube. But you got to be playing chess. So you need more dimensions of strategy. Some people used to say like, hey, just be consistent, kind of have some energy in your videos and just go for it, and that was kind of like, that was the level of strategy. Now it's a little more nuanced, but if you can just, wrap your head around a few key things, I think that it's just as wide open to break through right now.
Mm-hmm. I remember the first time I saw you speak on stage, you had said that unlike other platforms, YouTube is the one place where just because you build it, it doesn't mean that people are going to come. So is that like you're saying, it's more nuanced now. There's more specifics to really being able to stand out. And I know a lot of people that scares them, that intimidates them, that there is so much more work, but because it's almost, you need to be playing chess. Do you think that actually opens up the space for only people who are seriously ready to play?
It does. And I've actually had many conversations for a couple of things. That's a great question. I think number one of the reasons why, sure, there's competition on YouTube, but one of the reasons why it seems like there's less, compare it to like blogging, let's say, and compare it to trying to get on like the first page of Google, talk about a challenge. And not to say that blogging compared to YouTube, like one is harder than the other. They're totally different. One is a writing discipline, one's a video discipline. But because video encompasses having to get on camera and throw in a light, set up a camera and like take a shower that day, there is more moving parts. So actually that means that more people don't do it. And yes, it means that for those who are willing to put in that work, there is great opportunity. But you also said, that it's intimidating because it's so much more work. I don't know if it's so much more work when I say strategy. I just mean you have to do more smart work. It's not necessarily that you have to be working a lot harder, but that your efforts need to be smarter and just simple things. Whereas just did a coaching call earlier today. And one of the things I was helping the person with was video ideas. And where, let's say you had a personal development channel. And so you want to put a video like how to stay motivated. Every personal development teacher would have some content to share on that. So how to stay motivated would be a good video title, but it's pretty crowded and pretty saturated. One just tweak that could help people listening for crushing it on YouTube is that instead of like doing a video called how to stay motivated, you might do a video like how to stay motivated as a working single mom. And that added layer of distinction means that in an ocean that is pretty crowded, you're getting a little more specific, and where also you're not going to get tens of thousands of views, you're going to get a very specific person that could find that video that's also hopefully connected to your ideal audience, your brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so just smart moves like that, whereas kind of it's not a shotgun approach and just kind of throwing it out there and hoping it works, but it's being more intentional, even if you don't have to put out a ton of content or anything like that. And over time, you can build up significant influence.
Absolutely. And that really is about narrowing down the niche and the people that you're speaking to on YouTube. So we can kind of jump into that a little bit of what does it really take for somebody to identify their niche on YouTube, and why is that important?
You know, I think that I like to say a framework that I think I read in a book somewhere, that if someone's curious about like what is their niche for anything online or whatever, I think it's at the convergence of what are you passionate about? And also, but not necessarily. So sometimes that's a myth too. Sometimes you might just see like a window of opportunity, and you're so stuck on like, oh, I'm not that passionate about it. But if you really see it and you've got like, you know, the skill to do it, maybe it's just a project for 2 years that really helps you generate some income, maybe some influence, you pivot later. But ideally, it's like the thing you love, but that's not enough. You want to add on top of passion, proficiency. Mm-hmm. What are you also skilled at? I could say like, I love music and I actually enjoy singing, but as soon as we step into the proficiency arena, boom, I just fall right off the cliff. Like I do not have, no one's subscribing to Sean's channel of doing guitar covers and singing. Like I don't know. My wife tells me I'm tone deaf. Like I don't know what's happening, but I love it. So it's not just passion. What are you also proficient at? Again, don't get paralyzed here. You don't have to be the world's greatest expert. All you have to do is be one step in front of people you can help. Mm. If you're just one step further down the road, you don't have to, if you're helping people with online business tips, you don't have to have built $1 billion company with 100 employees. Maybe you just figured out how to set up a landing page and how to use an email autoresponder. Now there's people who don't know how to do that. So you could help the people one step behind you in whatever your niche or industry. So your passion, your proficiency, but even those two things are also kind of not enough if you want this to be a business. So that third level is profitability or profit. And that's just determining, is there an interested market? And in this case, is there an interested market on YouTube? So one of the first things I would do is I would go to YouTube and I'd start typing in the top questions that people would ask in your niche. And everybody listening, if they already kind of have some clarity on, you know, whether they're doing health coaching or whether they're doing something in, you know, personal development, or whether they're homeschool or, you know, helping moms or anything at all, like go see if there's an interest. You can use tools like Google Keyword Planner to see how much search volume. That's a free tool. You just can log in and you got to set it up, but you can see how much search, like how many people a month are curious about tips for working moms. Get a little bit of data, and then you know there's a market for it. And then you also know that that market means that you could be sustained. Like you could generate a business to fund the mission that you want to do to help and reach people. So I really say that it's in the convergence of your passion, proficiency, and profit. If you can find the center point of that, that is what you want to start on YouTube.
Absolutely. And I think what you've created on YouTube, you've got multiple different channels that kind of touch on different things. I'm curious, it seems like video influencers and your content that's primarily around teaching video for income, influence, impact, that those are the things that you're most passionate about. But then you also have a lot of review videos that you've done. So are those more of the things that are more like side income generators versus like the primary passion?
Yeah, if we dig into this, I think it'll be a good conversation. You know, it might surprise people to probably say that my ultimate passion is not even actually video.
Yeah.
Now, I really love video and I'm very passionate about video. But I mean, when it comes to like my I also still understand that video itself, while I love cameras, I love the process, is also just a medium of getting a message across to people. And when I think about things I'm passionate in my life, and those make their way in other places, it's kind of interesting. But yet what I realized, and this was kind of an aha moment, and maybe it'll be an unlock for somebody, what an unlock moment is that video was my biggest proficiency. Over the years, I'd worked at staff at a church, and I'd done my media business, and I'd waited tables, and I'd done speaking, and I'd done a lot of leadership stuff. But one of the things I noticed what are the things that people look to me as before video influencers started, and before I even think media was what it is today. I thought, even as a pastor and working in the church arena, I thought like maybe people would be hitting me up for like relationship advice, but no one ever did. Maybe our relationship is terrible. I thought maybe people would hit me up for fitness advice, but nobody did, because clearly like I don't have the guns going. So, but what I did notice was that people were always hitting me up for video advice, for like, hey, what camera should I buy? So part of my transition a couple years ago was actually just realizing that, hey, if you try to reach everybody, you end up reaching nobody. And clarity is power on the internet. So when my Twitter bio used to say like 15 different things, when I realized that actually can confuse people, when people think if you're going in 15 different directions, even though it might make sense for your story, people don't know, like, how can people follow you if they don't know where you're going?
Wait, so what did your Twitter bio say?
Well, I don't know. Probably said like speaker, pastor, husband, wife. I wasn't a wife as well. Husband, dog lover. And now it says, I help people build their influence with online video. But when I made that shift and I shifted my whole brand, that's actually when things begin to exponentially grow, because now in a busy internet where you only have 5 seconds, I like to teach, when someone lands on your Twitter page, your YouTube page, your Facebook page, they're trying to make sense of you. And what I've realized though, is again, like an onion, everybody has multiple passions. One of my mentors, Shalene Johnson, she talks about that. She's like, because they just launched a brand new diet. They teach business and marketing. They teach lifestyle design with Smart Success. So what I realized though, was that even if you have multiple passions, you don't want that to be, you can't just unleash everything on the internet. There should be a starting point with everybody listening. They start with you somewhere, and then there's a journey with you that maybe reveals other things. One of the big mistakes people make is, again, they just put that all out there, multiple passions, and there's not enough clarity in just one message that could lead to other things. When I think about what I'm passionate about high performance, these days especially passionate about entrepreneurship, building businesses. But what I realized was that my sweet spot and my convergence, my proficiency was big there. I was passionate, like I could discover and stir up enough passion about it. And then there certainly was a market of people to help. Boom. Then I started to run with it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, I love this. This is exactly kind of what I'm always trying to preach, that, yeah, you want to have a clear sign outside your door, and it might not, if you're an Italian restaurant, it's going to say Manhattan's best pizza. It's not going to give the entire menu on the outside of the door. That's what gets people to walk in, because they want delicious food. And then they're like, oh, I'll buy some spaghetti with that, and I'll have some ice cream at the end. So I think that that's such a good point. And I really love the way that you just explained that.
And that was a great illustration for that same point.
Yes. Love it. So what do you love about YouTube specifically? What makes YouTube different, unlike any other social media platforms?
Oh, you got me fired up now. YouTube is my absolute favorite for a very practical reason. And the main reason is that YouTube is a search engine. The reason this is a huge difference from other social media platforms is it means it's a huge opportunity for us for discoverability, for you, for me, for those listening. Because it's a search engine, that means that people are going to YouTube asking questions. So they're asking, how can I lose belly fat fast, without dieting? They're going to YouTube to ask questions like, how can I grow my business with Instagram? They're going for and a million other questions. They're also, I'm sure people listening can relate to, if you had like your dishwasher break or something, you go to YouTube to type in your dishwasher model to see if you can fix it there. Like, it is a search engine. And so therefore, if you create content that shows up on the other side of people's searches, then you can get what my friend Sunny says, views while you snooze. The reason that's amazing is because I view some of the other social media platforms as the social media hamster wheel, I like to call it. Now, no hate, no shade, because we use them all. We're doing Facebook Lives, we're doing Instagram, we have strategies on all platforms. But the reason I love YouTube the most is because, like, even this week, I was like, shoot, I'm trying to post a photo a day on Instagram, Jen. I have not posted one in the last 4 days. I have guilt, shame. Because I know the demand of content,
Yeah.
but check this out. YouTube, because it's like these other platforms, they're like the cookie monster, but they're the content monster. They're like, feed me. So it's like, you got to keep posting and it's like, you got to go live again. You have to content, and that's fine. That's the name of the game, especially if you want to be in this industry. But YouTube is so different. YouTube, if I go to my real-time analytics right now, this is pretty crazy. I got 70,000 views in the last 48 hours. Here's the crazy thing. If I don't post any new videos this week, next week, it'll range between 60 to 80,000 views every 2 days.
Unreal.
For the next 3 months, that won't even go down. And it might not go down for a year or two. Now, of course, like that's because why? It's because it took a long time to build that. None of this stuff happens overnight, but because one by one, I was putting out these videos that go on the other side of 100 different questions. And as I just keep putting them out, we call them ranked videos. I keep putting those out into the world, and it's built up this momentum of, again, views, quite literally, why you snooze. People have this dream of passive income. This is passive lead generation. This is passive audience development. Every video is kind of like an employee that you only have to pay once, but then works for you for free for weeks, months, and years to come. And it makes me think of, like, in my neighborhood here, I'm working from my home office today. And if I was to go door to door, like old school, if you wanted to get your brand out in network marketing, you would just go and you try to talk to multiple people a day, knock on their door. Hey, do you want to buy a vacuum cleaner? You're like a Kirby salesman, And so, but YouTube is like going door to door, except it's people coming to your door at their exact time of need. The exact moment when they're having that paid point, the exact moment when they're having that question, they type it in and then they find you and it begins the journey. So potentially 70,000 people every 2 days have a chance to enter my world because of leveraging this platform. Why? Because it's a search engine. That just doesn't happen on Facebook. It doesn't happen other places. There's value everywhere and there's unique strategies everywhere, but that is why I love YouTube the most.
Yes, Sean, I'm so glad you're saying this, because there are so many entrepreneurs who are in that heavy state of burnout, and they're really wondering how they can sustain being on social media without completely living on their phone. And Instagram, I think, is the perfect one, where you post one thing, you're excited about it, and then within the next 20 minutes, it's already buried in the feed and no one cares about it. So yeah, oh my gosh, this is such good stuff. So for you, how frequently do you post videos?
So this is a good, I got a new training video coming out soon where I kind of share my story. And so I want to tell you about 2 seasons.
Yes.
Let's talk about the now season, which is, I don't think people should try to imitate or model. So right now, between video influencers and Think Media, we're doing about 2 videos a week on each channel. So that's 4 videos a week. And then trying to do about 2 live streams, YouTube lives, by the way, YouTube lives per week, which count as another video. So that bumps it up to about 6 videos a week. That's a lot. But I've got a team working with me. Benji and I work on video influencers. We have another person that helps us edit and shoot those videos. So we're in an entirely different stage. I kind of liken it to, at this stage, I look at, say, Gary Vaynerchuk, who's somebody I follow online. And he's putting out insane amounts of content everywhere, but he has 15 full-time people being paid to just work on his personal brand. So as just a pin right here is, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yep.
Comparison will rob your motivation and kill your joy faster than everything else. So never compare yourself to anybody for any reason. The only person you should ever compare yourself with is the person in the mirror and the person you were yesterday. That's my competition. I just want to live up to my potential and go get 1% better than yesterday. So saying that, if I go back though to my side hustle season, which is when I was just doing YouTube on the side, I made it my goal to post about 1 video a week. And I probably only posted about 32 videos a year. And that was enough to kind of get noticed and build momentum. Sometimes I might even put out 2 during the week, but sometimes I get busy. And that's what's cool, is if you're doing it right, you're creating leverage, and still your past videos will work for you even when you're not working. Here's a case study. Heather Torres, who's actually on my team, but as a cool way to test, does this stuff even work? I mean, she's closer to all of our content than anybody. And so she started a homeschool channel, Homeschool Mom. Her and her husband, Isaiah, awesome couple, live here in Vegas, homeschooling 2 kids. Starts this homeschool channel from scratch. posts a few videos, and maybe she's been doing this about 9 months now, already over 5,000 subscribers, already making a little bit of money with YouTube ads and affiliate marketing, but has already landed some brand deals. So she landed a brand deal with the curriculum company of the homeschool content that they wanted to teach that year. So normally that would cost them 12 grand. They got that for free. Amazing. They also got about $4,000 to do a just monthly update, 12 months, just once a month, to say, hey, this month we did the math, we did this thing, we did that, and just give an update about their use of the curriculum. And then in the description, there's an affiliate link if anyone buys that curriculum for 10% commissions on $1,200. It's $120, right? So as a relatively small channel, now she hasn't been doing once a week, and she's missed up to a month at a time. But because she was putting out ranked videos, day in the life of homeschool, homeschool curriculum reviews, best homeschool books, homeschool Q&A, homeschool versus public school, just like really, and she's in that space. By the way, not an expert, like no formal, I'd say she is an expert, but in her own right, no formal education on that. Nobody knighted her and said, you now have she just felt empowered. Like, I'm just going to do it. And let me give one other tactic here that's really helpful for the person that maybe is saying, but how do you get confidence to be on camera? Like, how do you even just take that first step? And that's where she was at. She's like, I don't have video confidence. I don't want to do video. So what she did was she actually committed to not just being on Snapchat, but to telling an actual story every day for about 3 to 5 months, meaning it would have a beginning, middle, and an end. She would be challenging herself to share some tips every day. And she wasn't trying to like grow her Snapchat. She's like, if 5 people are watching or if nobody's watching, the point of these videos is to help me get comfortable talking to the lens, me get comfortable being on camera. And then she launched her YouTube channel after she kind of got the edge off, and it revolutionized, day one, she's probably frustrated. Like, geez, is that what I sound like? Is that, because that's how we all feel, right? You're like, gee, is that what I actually look like played back? But then week 2, she's like, I'm kind of getting momentum. Mm-hmm. Month 2, she's like, okay, let me now flip on the camera and start sharing some YouTube content. So a very practical way to put like a daily discipline for growing your camera confidence. And so anyways, point is, I think, you want to be, I recommend once a week, but the other key is just be consistent as possible, because it would be much better to start today and build up momentum, even just slowly over time with quality content, so that you maybe have a jump off point when you can go like full time or go all in.
Mm-hmm. Love it. If you could break down quickly, what is a ranked video? Because some people who are listening might be like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah. So a ranked video is pretty simple. It's just if someone types in any search, if anybody goes to YouTube right now or Google, mm-hmm. and they type in any query at all, whatever the top, posts there are or videos there, those are the ranked posts. They rank number 1 or number 2. So in order, if someone goes and says best green smoothie recipe, whatever the number 1 video there, that's the number 1 ranking video. Mm-hmm. I would say that the goal of everybody listening, if they want to do YouTube and rank videos, is to get on that first page. And then even better is to be in those top 3 or 4 posts. And any business owner, small business owner, they would know that actually even on Yelp or Google or even on Amazon, you want to rank everywhere. There's the opportunity to rank. If you go to Amazon, you type in paleo tips, you're going to have a lot of value if you're the number 1 ranking video there, right?
Absolutely.
Same thing on YouTube. Yep. So if you go there and you type, how to resolve conflict, with your boyfriend, and you're the number 1 video, that's going to bring you a lot of traffic. If maybe you're teaching relationships or you're teaching advice, that is going to help you get discovered because you're in that ranking spot. Most people on most social platforms, what they do is they try to grow through very good strategies, sharing, an email list, 1-to-1 on social, a friend tells a friend. But what happens is once you serve that content to your current audience, it plateaus. It gets 100 views, it gets 1,000 views, or it gets 10 views, but then it never grows past there because it doesn't rank in search. The leverage you create when you rank a video is, yes, it's going to serve your current subscribers and audience. If you have an email list, you send it out to them. A couple people click through and watch it. It serves them, but it has ultimate leverage to live on far beyond that original search. And the power of a ranked video, or originally when you post that video, the power of a ranked video is that I've got videos that will get 3 views an hour or 30 views an hour. Like, no joke. Like, while we're talking, there's a video right now. It'll get 30 views in like the hour or however long we talk. And some of those videos, though, are 6 months old, 2 years old, 5 years old. That's like, it's so crazy leverage. And it's like, when I saw this, that's why I was like, I had so much energy to be like, I don't care how hard this is. Like, I don't care what I have to learn. If I have to drink a Red Bull and try to stay up and shoot videos, I don't care if I put out 10 videos, 9 of them don't rank, but 1 does, because that is extremely appealing to me, because it's kind of the dream of probably a lot of people listening. It's that ultimate passive income dream.
Yep.
If you monetize the back end of that, you are creating truly passive growth, exposure, and it's powerful.
I love this. I'm like so excited. So you've got the passive leads coming in. How do you start to monetize that? And you've got some like really fun strategies and such a unique way of really just kind of doing everything that you can with one video to really maximize the potential.
Yeah, let's talk about a couple. I mean, one of the cool things about YouTube is that it actually is, at this point, one of the only or the only social media platform that actually has a revenue sharing program. So anybody that wants to start on YouTube, and if you just start getting views, you can start making money. Now, I actually don't really recommend this for a couple of reasons. Number one, meaning like if you start a YouTube channel, you can just turn on ads. I think these days, once you get your first 10,000 views, you can now turn on ads on your videos. And the problem is you just don't make that much. Like, YouTube just gives you kind of pennies. And so if you're not getting significant views, it's just really not worth it. And what I like to say, especially like entrepreneurs, is that if you put that interruption, that ad in between you and your message, it's probably hurting you more than it's helping you, because there's so many better ways to monetize. Like if you do have an ebook, or you have something that you want to drive people to, or some kind of a product, again, you're going to monetize a lot more off of that sale than you would off YouTube ads. But what's cool about that is it's something that you can do to get started earning money almost immediately. The second thing, and this is actually how I originally built a full-time income and beyond 6 figures, was affiliate marketing. And what I realized was that and this is a good example, if you go to YouTube, you type in best personal development books, I think, if people go check, I'm right there. Like, hey guys, hey, Sean here. And I talk about, 7 of the best personal development books. That video is about to cross 100,000 views. And in the description of the YouTube description, there is links to those books that are connected to the Amazon Associates program. And so you have affiliate marketing. You make 4 to 10% on those sales. And this could either just be a few bucks a month, but when you start getting big traffic, big views like that, it can really begin to stack and generate a lot of income. That would be with affiliate marketing. Another example is kind of in like network marketing, or let's say health, like the health space. There's of course so many opportunities for health products, and there's a lot of times a lot of margin there. I have some videos that are on different affiliate programs where you can earn 30% commissions, 40% commissions, and even reoccurring if somebody subscribes to something. So we put out a video a while ago. It's actually about 2 years old now. One video generates $300 a month on autopilot. We made it once, set it and forget it. And when people type in this search, they find that video, and certain people are like, hey, I want to check out that product and whatever. And then that just generates income through affiliate marketing, because I talk about the product and the link is in the description.
Yes. And you tell people, you give them that call to action. If anyone goes and watches any of Sean's videos, check out the personal development one. You've also got, if you type in best YouTube cameras, you're like the first 5 things that rank for that. So if you guys want to see the actual execution of some of the things that Sean's talking about right now, go and stalk him on YouTube.
Yep, absolutely.
What is the best place on YouTube for them to see? Is there one particular video that you think just kind of nails this?
I mean, if you could check out best camera for YouTube, but I think, the other thing I really recommend people check out is maybe type in best camera for YouTube and watch that video. You could type in best personal development books and watch that video. But then what you could do is type in Sean Cannell, and you'll find my channel what'll kind of be like some stuff from my wife and I, and go to the videos. And there's a little bar that says view videos by date, and go to the oldest video on Sean Cannell. Watch that video. After you watch those new ones, just so that, again, you get some of that context, because you never want to compare your beginning to somebody else's middle.
Mm.
And it could be disempowering. And so sometimes it's like, whoa, like, man, he's going, even right now, like pretty charged up. He's going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Like, I don't know. But what the cool thing is that you just got to start. And
Yeah.
that's what I love, is if it wasn't for that first video, which it's pretty funny. Like if people want some humor, you'd be like, is that the same person? But that's where I started. You know, we all got to start somewhere. And I'm so glad I posted that video and the video after it and the next 50 terrible videos, because I was learning, I was kind of going. And then some of those in the journey, like, did pretty well. Some of them started earning like $5 a month, $10 a month as I was doing some affiliate marketing stuff. So that is a must watch for some humor and some encouragement wherever you are around the world.
Everyone go and do it. So obviously your whole strategy behind filming videos, you've gotten nicer equipment over the years, you've gotten more comfortable on camera. So for you today, what really goes into making a YouTube video? Because I think that a lot of people get really tripped up with feeling like they need all the fancy schmancy stuff before they start. And I know your message is just do it now. So what really are some simple things that people can start implementing from conception to pressing publish?
That is a great point you make. And one of the things that we say is we say that content value is exponentially more important than production value.
Yep.
And the thing that people get hung up on the most is production value. What they're worried about is, hey, do I have the right camera? Do I have the right microphone? And I would want to tell people that while it can be important, it is so much less important than actually what is the content. So I would say people listening, they're smart. You got some amazing people that they know their stuff. They've got answers. They've been through things. They've been through pain. They made it through. They can share that story. They've overcame challenges, whether, you know, in all kinds of life. They've got content to share with people. Really think about content that's meaningful, powerful, valuable. Should be your obsession first, like 90% of what you're thinking about, and then 10% of how we're actually going to get it out there. The quick framework for thinking about the actual video itself is just think about AVL. That's your audio, video, and your lighting. This smartphone is good enough. However, I'm right by a window here. You know, if I don't have any fancy lighting, you know, you can just sit in front of a window and have some good light shine on you. Put your phone up on a shoebox, you know, like right in front of it. You got that good light. Sure, the microphone on your phone's probably good enough. Just don't shoot videos next to an airport tarmac or like a train station, you know, that no background noise or no like echoey in an opera hall, you know, just maybe I'm just in a small room right here. So the audio is just fine, like acoustically here. So you think about the audio, think about some decent lighting or just a well-lit shot somewhere in your house. And you can invest in some very budget lighting items or whatever. And then thinking about the video, well, smartphones do HD, like all of them do now. So there's your production value. Like you can get started today to shoot the content, but what's the content value? And so where I spend, what would probably surprise a lot of people, most of my time is actually on research and content development. So this week on my calendar, and I'm using my Passion Planner, which is ridiculously large, by the way. I ordered the big version. I don't mind it though, actually. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So it shows how much I prioritize planning. So on Monday this week, basically the entire day, and I do this full time, but the entire day was just sitting in front of Google Docs and my computer and planning video ideas, reading YouTube comments to find people's questions, doing research in some of the things that we're talking about, where you're looking, what are people searching? What are the terms they're looking for? And then thinking about that content, maybe looking for quotes that would support that. How can I make the content? Like I say something, but then I'm like, you know, as Dale Carnegie said, and like quotes to strengthen it, thinking about how can we make the content really good. That's where people's headspace could be, because again, that's what's going to matter to the person on the other side. What you should do is put yourself in the shoes of the viewer. They're not sitting there thinking, man, is the lighting, you know, thinking like they really aren't. No. They're thinking, if they're typing in how to like avoid divorce, if they don't want to divorce, like they're in some pain in that moment. Yeah. And if you've got some answers, they need to be able to see you. They need to be able to hear you. But then they're just looking for the answer. So what is the content? And then, you know, if possible, there's a few content, powerful things. I think that numbers are good. If it's teaching content, I think even in your title, if it was
like 5 steps kind of.
Exactly. Because there's a couple psychological things that happen there. Number one, it gives me a reason to stay.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just this endless, it's great if there's just like a loop of content, but I'm not sure, like if you give me 3, a lot of people like need to get to number 3, right? You want to complete, like, hey, we started, I'm not going to leave at number 2 unless the points are bad. And so it gives me something to look forward to. And then it also, it's something about just structuring your content in a way that adds value and really gives a framework. Same thing, like if you're doing cooking videos, or recipes, steps, you like just step by step. And maybe that's what's in the title. Maybe there's 20 steps, but you're walking people through. And if somebody types in, cooking is a huge space of, sure, there's competition, but so much opportunity for recipes, even shake recipes, smoothies, whatever. Huge opportunity that people are interested in. They just want the answer. Why are they typing that in? For the content. So I've seen videos with 100,000 views, 1 million views, shot on a phone, even shaky. And sure, you could level up the production value, but the reason people love it is because when it was over, they had a delicious smoothie that tastes good and like wasn't clumpy like it used to be. You know what I mean? So it's like getting people actual results. That's what I would focus on. And the one other tip I would say in answer to your question about, what goes into making a video, the second thing that could really help people is then after my research. And if we use an example like Heather, she doesn't spend a day planning her videos, but she just might take like a Saturday morning, 2 hours, plan out 4 videos on homeschool, like for her channel. Then what we both do, her, I, and what we teach is we teach batch production. And what that would be is that you would just block some time on your calendar to sit down and to actually shoot all 4 videos like in one setting.
This is so key. Yep.
Maybe 4 different outfits for me, just like a couple different shirts. And that way and then if you only release 1 video a week, but you shot all 4 at once, then you can have a month's worth of content, but only 1 shoot day a month. So that's really tapping into leverage. So prep some videos, and then the next day, this week, shot those videos, and then they'll come out 2 a week on Think Media for the next couple weeks. And so that's what goes into it for our video process.
Amazing. I know people are taking some serious notes right now. People who are jumping on Facebook Live are like, is there going to be a replay of this? Will I be able to see this? So people are loving this right now. So for you, there's so many great nuggets in what you just shared, but I want to jump back a little bit to YouTube Live. So this is kind of sort of a new-ish thing that they've launched out. How is this different or the same as Facebook Live and then traditional YouTube videos?
So YouTube Live is unique, and it is a good opportunity right now. The reason it's different is for what I've already stated in our talk here, and that is because YouTube still is a search engine, and it still is a place for evergreen content. What is evergreen? Well, like an evergreen tree. It's a tree that's green year round. So it's content that is forever valuable potentially. So if you think about the lifespan of content on Facebook, it's like 10 minutes, like, or it might be a couple days, but who goes back 2 years ago to watch a Facebook Live? Yeah, nobody. Whereas YouTube, because it's that Facebook is like your place to grow your audience. People also are maybe discouraged because they were like, but on Facebook Live, I get 500 views, and on YouTube, I get 10. And so because Facebook is a place for the quick reach, they've built the 2 billion users. They've built this shareable network. So everybody should be using Facebook. And it's this chance to like meet people and connect with them. But YouTube is a content library. And just like a library, you might go reference certain parts at certain times. When the question comes out, it's a much better place to even find stuff. You got the search bar, things can be organized in playlists. So the difference in a Facebook, in a YouTube Live that I do is I am I do acknowledge the live viewers, but I very much speak with language for evergreen content. Here's how I would intro the video. First thing I would say, I'd hit go live and I would say, in this video, I'm sharing 5 tips on how to collaborate with other YouTubers and get interviews with influencers coming up. But hey, if we're just meeting, my name is Sean, and this training is going to be a little bit different. We're live. So if you're here live, thanks for being here. But if you're on the rebroadcast, And then I might acknowledge people. I get into the content. I try to land the plane, but I very much am thinking people are mostly going to be watching this on the rebroadcast. And just like any other video, I want it to rank as well. So the difference is on Facebook, I spend more time saying, hey guys, smash that like button, hit the heart button. My favorite one is the wow face. In fact, hey, if you're watching this right now, can you smash that wow face? Because that's my favorite one. And, comment below, tag somebody. It's different language. You can't do that on YouTube. So it is knowing the platform and some of the language, but it also is absolutely creating the live with the intentionality of it lasting. But here's the other cool thing is you can also do things like you can go live and you can delete it. You could go live and you can make it unlisted and just put it into a members area. You could actually just leave it unlisted and just maybe communicate with like a private membership group or something. So there's a lot of YouTube is a very powerful platform with practical tools like that, like practical ways as you learn the ins and outs to, recently I just did a YouTube live. It was more of a test, but I made the video unlisted and I just tweeted it. So only 7 people came, but we were able to hang out and there was a depth there that was obviously, it's kind of cool. It's kind of unique. So like knowing some of those nuances, but that would be the big difference is that YouTube live can be evergreen, number one. And then number two, knowing this is different. You're going to ask people to subscribe and you have a YouTube description that you can link to resources ahead of time. You can know what your call to action is ahead of time and already have that in the description. And so knowing the nuances of YouTube can help you treat it, just small tweaks that make it different from other live platforms.
Yeah, no, this is so good. Do you have a favorite video that you've done over all these years of YouTube?
What's funny is that my favorite videos are typically not the most viewed videos, but on my Sean Cannell channel, I've got one that I did for my wife and I's 10th anniversary. And so I did a re-edit of our wedding video. I had all the old DV tapes. So that one was fun. And then there's also some creative, there's one called, that's kind of like creative. There's like these ones that never did that well. Yeah. What's funny is it's usually like the very practical thing that's it. It's an interesting distinction is actually what really does well on YouTube is usually like very, very, very practical. If that makes sense. It's meeting people at a practical need. And this is a great tactic, just kind of like a higher level strategy for this conversation. For instance, maybe you want to teach business strategy, but if you're really going to teach business strategy, you should do that on a webinar. You should do that further as using your analogy, further on down the menu in your like say funnel or when people do stuff with you. Whereas on YouTube, you might want to just do how to install a WordPress plugin to capture emails. Like legit, because people who are like maybe doing something like say in online marketing, that's like their pain point. And that's such a great way to meet them, just having them solve like how to, even make like create those fancy lifestyle photos on Instagram. You meet them, but then you're able to say, and maybe some of those videos could get like hundreds of thousands of views. Yeah. And then in the video, you're able to say, so, hey, I hope you enjoy this video. And by the way, my passion is helping, millennial entrepreneur women like 10X their businesses. So if you're interested in like going deeper, let's connect. And now again, you met them at this practical pain point, but then you can go into more advanced stuff or like a deeper level conversation, other places. So definitely incorporating that into your thinking and strategy.
Yeah, no, that's great. That is high level. And that is really thinking about the long game of YouTube, because those are the videos that are going to grow over time. So what do you see for yourself right now? And just for the landscape of YouTube in the next, because we were saying earlier, I think a lot of people think like 6 months ahead, 2 years ahead, but you're thinking like 40, 60, like great grandchildren and the real estate of the online space. So what do you see for yourself happening in this world of YouTube?
Yeah, I like that question. And referencing what we were talking about off camera, you were kind of getting into my motivation, like, hey, why do you do it? Start with why. And one of the things that motivates me right now majorly, and it's weird how real this is to me. My wife and I don't have kids yet. We have 2 chihuahuas, but no kids. But even before that phase of our life, I am motivated by a conversation that I imagine myself having with my grandkids. So our kids, right? And I imagine sitting down with little Sarah and her talking to me, and she just was in, class and in history, and they studied this time. she's talking about, whoa, 2017, 2018, we studied the social media revolution. We were studying the beginning of the internet. We were studying the genesis of the internet. And here's what motivates me about that conversation. What I don't want little Sarah to say is, Graham, Grampy, why didn't you go all in back when there was so much opportunity? Why didn't you? Like, I was studying, like, it's so hard now. Like, now she's on her iPhone 3X, right? Because the iPhone 10 is about to come out, the iPhone 65, and it's a hologram. But she's like, I'm trying to post videos, but it's so hard to like break through now. It's just kind of, the space is so noisy. But like, Grandpa, you were like living through like one of the greatest times of human history. And that, it sounds maybe weird that like, but that's literally what drives me, because I don't think people listening, and I don't even think myself, realizes how good it is right now and how much opportunity there is right now to grow your influence, particularly with online video. We mentioned video is taking over. And so it is such a massive window. Sure, it has competition, but yeah, like, greatness takes work, and greatness takes sacrifice, and greatness takes, it takes putting in the work. Beat the competition, learn the stuff, put in the time. And that's one of the things that 100% drives me. And I see that right now, because I'm so close to this. Heather and I on my team, we're always looking at like video ideas. We want to start like 10 businesses a day, and we stay focused, because we'll see, we're like, look at this. We call it, white space, like uncrowded topics or areas. We find video ideas, areas of YouTube that, like, man, somebody could just go in and dominate that. If somebody would just go plant their flag in this, if somebody would go plant their flag in this. And I would say that right now, what's driving me the most is I really feel like the next 12, really confident, probably the next 24 months is like this land grab, particularly on YouTube. And I don't know if it's going to be here 36 months from now, but I know it's here right now. And so I'm also, one of the things I'm very passionate about is being a player coach. And what some people, and I think it's fine if they do this, but some people do real estate, they crush it a little bit, but then they just leave completely and just teach it. And it's very lucrative to do that. And they go around teach, no hate, no shade, but I'm obsessed with being a player coach. I live in the trenches. I'm a YouTuber, and I help people get results with it. So we're doubling down. I mean, I'm scheduling shoot days. I'm still doing videos. I'm like, this land grab is real. And I'm not like teaching on something that worked like 4 or 5 years ago. It's working right now, and I'm still working it. And I want to help other people do the same.
Oh my God, you are lighting such a fire. Oh my gosh, I love this. And it's so true, because I'm seeing more and more the frustration of online entrepreneurs who are just getting frustrated with the shift in their income because of the saturation of Instagram and Facebook. And so I am so on board with this, what you're saying, that there is going to be this land grab, because people are realizing that they've got to start shifting some of their stuff to think long game strategy. And I think YouTube really is that opportunity for so many people. And I think some people are jumping into podcasts and, trying to establish themselves on a website a little bit more, but there is so much untapped land, as you said, on YouTube.
And let me, this is an advanced no, but I've never shared this anywhere before. And I think this will be immense value. There is a certain point where this is like a framework that I'll probably put out of evaluating competition though. So one thing I like to encourage people when it comes to YouTube is, they say, well, somebody else is already doing what I'm doing. But what I like to say is, I'm sure you teach the same thing, but no one's ever going to teach it like you. And so maybe there's already somebody teaching fitness. There's thousands of people teaching fitness, but your ethnicity, your background, your difference, your stage of life, some people, it doesn't matter how good somebody else is. Tony Robbins is awesome, but maybe not everybody resonates with him. And there's a lot of other personal development coaches. Tony Robbins is awesome, but maybe somebody wants to learn from a female instead of a male. So everybody should always be tapping into their uniqueness. But one of the things I like to think about on YouTube to evaluate is it's kind of funny. It's kind of nuanced, but you might say, in a space, how many people, so maybe someone's in a space of cooking. Well, how many females are in that space? How many males are in that space? How many people of a certain ethnicity are in that space? So sometimes white space, I believe, is like is this too weird? There's slots of you like saying, well, there's nobody, again, maybe from a certain ethnic background. Some people just are never going to like me. And you could be the person. International is a whole nother thing that opens that up.
Yeah.
YouTube is an international platform, other languages. Some people say, well, hey, should I force it into English? I'm like, if you've got mastery, it'd be better to just blow up and create the Spanish channel. Does that make sense?
Oh, this is so good.
Encouraging people to think, you know, at some point, if like the exact person teaching the exact content that is like your exact age and your exact background, you might want to pivot, you know, distinction. But I see so much opportunity for people to be for instance, like let's take me, for example. I teach YouTube. I have 30 competitors and I could tell you their names right now. They happen to all be my friends too. It happens unique in this space. Like we're all friends. But like, it's interesting because there's girls, there's guys, there's different ethnicities, there's different backgrounds, there's different ages. And yet, and what's happening is I'm seeing how abundant the world is.
Yeah.
Because they're all prospering. They're all doing it in their own way. And at some point, like different people have different training courses, but looking and evaluating that space to think about, okay, well, really 10X your distinction, your uniqueness, your brand style, how you communicate, your ethnicity, your background, your gender, and maximize those things. And sometimes that's where the opportunity is, where you're going to be this particular type of person in a niche that maybe is already very, very crowded and saturated.
Yes. And I love what you said too. I want to highlight that you are good friends with so many people who are your quote unquote competition. Do you find that YouTube is a little bit unique in that it's focused more around community?
YouTube is very focused around community. And I think that maybe also just by a little bit of serendipity, that particular group is just super cool. And we all get along because it doesn't happen everywhere. That's for sure. And who knows? And behind the scenes, sometimes I look at them, I'm like, shoot, man, they got, look at how many views that video. What's the deal? You know, and I think about my friends in the space. But again, it just shows another encouraging thing for those listening when they think about competition is the world is so big. It is so much bigger than any of us can ever imagine. You know, YouTube, Susan, the CEO, announced that it's getting 1.5 billion video views or unique users watching content per month on mobile devices that are consuming over an hour of content per day. 1.5 billion, that's logged in accounts. That means they have a Gmail account, they're logged in and they're watching YouTube. Thus, the number of unique users is even higher. Billion with a B, that's a big number. If you only need, you know, 100 people to maybe be like part of a program that you have, or you've got, you know, a course, or you do coaching, or you have a physical product, and you know that you only need to sell 10,000 of those a year, or whatever it is. Like there's so many people. So if the key is you do want to find that unique niche. And that's why I shared some of those distinctions to really position yourself. You know, Sally Hogstead, author of Fascinate, said different is better than better.
Ooh, I like that.
So a lot of times you don't like what you're not trying to actually do is you see someone, you're like, geez, their lighting, man, she's like so fit, geez, and you compare yourself. No, the key is not to try to be better than somebody else. The key is actually these days in 2017 is to figure out your difference and really communicate and connect with your tribe, your pocket in the market, figure out what your positioning is, and then own it and run with it.
Oh man, you are just dropping like knowledge bombs just all day. Like I love your energy. You are just so freaking passionate. And we're getting some awesome live comments of people just like, yes, Sean, because you're just preaching right now. So I know you said before that, you know, part of your strategy is obviously reading through a lot of the YouTube comments to get inspiration for video ideas. I'm curious because I feel like this is another thing that prevents a lot of people from getting super visible, getting on video, is they're afraid of trolls.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite troll comment?
A lot of people will critique my hair a lot. Recently, someone made a video, Benji and I, we nod when the other person's not on camera. So on Video Influencers, I do run it with my friends. So a lot of times two of us are on camera. So whenever the other person's not talking, we like nod and we do like weird, and we just constantly like, we call them bobbleheads. Someone made a compilation video. It was actually kind of done in love, but they made a compilation video, zoomed in on the person not talking. So the whole time to SpongeBob music, the whole time it's just us nodding. But, you know, I was thinking about it. I can't think of a favorite troll comment off the top of my head, but I would say that, social media in general, this is just like, I'd say this is life in general. You got to have thick skin, but a soft heart. I think a problem is sometimes social media can harden you. It can harden you and it can hurt you. And that's why I say keep a soft heart, to really always try to empathize with the person on the other side, to not, again, if something's anonymous, like who cares about anonymous comments? If someone's not able to own who they are, the only comments I pay attention to and read is if it has a profile picture of your face. If you can say whatever you want to me, but like, be you, don't be a Twitter egg. Don't be like a computer generated. That has no weight. That has no value. That's cowardice, but also knowing, critics will come your way. Yeah. And it's a very real thing. So I don't really know I think one of the best things to encourage people is to prepare for it and to know that it is going to come. And probably the second thing is think about this, arguably the most powerful person in the world, the president of the United States, at any given time is hated, not even just like is either disliked or hated by 1 out of 2 people. Debatably now, maybe more than that. But at any given president in history, it's that close. That means it's like you go into Starbucks, there's 10 people there, 5 of them hate you. They vilify you. Like they want, these days people are crazy these days. It's like some people, like they want you to die. Yeah. Now, obviously that's a high level of authority and responsibility, but what does that mean? It means that the greater your influence, the greater the amount of critics and hate that you're going to get. So I just encourage people that, that haters and trolls are a sign of success. Yes. And so sometimes it just reminds me, I'm like anybody, I'm diplomatic. I want to please everybody. And man, people in the comments, they'll, say they could be trolls. Then there's trolls that are just mean for mean's sake. But the other thing that'll happen is it gets really painful when it's true. Ooh, yes. Like I teach tech, I try to do my best, but inevitably I will be reviewing a laptop or something and someone will be like, this was one of my favorite troll comments. It wasn't really a troll though. I got to respect the guy. Right. He goes, factual error number 1, paragraph, 3 different comments. Factual error number 2. You said HDMI cord. What it really was a da-da-da. And here's kind of what I've learned is that that's painful. But I've also learned, I was like, thank you, bro. Because you just made me smarter and better. And legit, because whenever I put out a video, I will acknowledge it. I'll even thumbs it up and say, good point, because I want other people to see. Like, it's an ongoing conversation. Like, if that's a valid point, then I try to humbly acknowledge it. But then I'm always getting smarter. Yes. Legit. Like even on my last video, I've been doing video for 15 years and I missed some stuff on this last video about a camera. And someone was like, well, actually it was this and this. I told Omar, who helps me shoot, I was like, hey man, we're smarter now. So if I keynote, if I speak, if I go places, I'm forever leveling up, because when you put your content out into the world, some people, haters, if it's mean and it's rude and it's cruel and it's untrue, then it's worthless. And it can be painful, but also some of it's true. And I don't even call those haters. Those are, they could maybe be nicer. You could be like, dude,
nitpickers.
Yeah, yeah. But what's nice is that I think if you can develop a spirit where you can always learn where there is value, that you become very, very powerful. Yeah.
Yes, this is so good, because I feel like that is a big thing that holds a lot of people back. And I think that really is a beautiful way to frame it so that you are always seeing it as an opportunity for growth, right?
Yep, 100%. And here's the other cool thing. YouTube also has features where you can, like Instagram, you can filter out certain words. You can block people. And I encourage people to, if you get to, it's what I love about YouTube is it's YouTube. It's your tube. Yep. It's your world. It's your own TV show. It's your own TV station. You can do whatever you want. So you can say in your videos, like what's appropriate, like, hey, share it in the comments, but remember, good vibes only on this YouTube channel. If you don't have those, it's cool. We'll block you. We'll ban you. and I think those channels that have done that, you get to curate your audience. You get to do that. And so, yeah, I think that you can delete comments, you can block people, you can ban people. We had like a troll who was just trolling us hard week after week. And I actually resisted blocking people for a while, but then I realized like, there's no value to this. It messes up my mindset. The person is so toxic. I think people should have chances. Like, you know, like one person was just promoting their own channel. I said, hey man, you know, I think you should add value, even talk about your channel, but it needs to be in the context of value, not just self-promotion.
Yeah.
And so, hey, just stop doing it. If he kept doing it, we'd ban him, but he changed. So I think that you want to have patience and mercy for people, but then throw down the hammer, man. Create the culture that you want. You're in charge. You're the leader. You are designing and shaping the culture of your brand. And so that's up to you to manage.
Absolutely. And the other thing with troll comments, the more comments, the higher or the more traction the video gets, right?
Oh man, whether they love you or they hate you. So
Like
same thing with
thumbs down, that's good for the video, right?
Yeah, because it's engagement period that adds value to your video. And so I always think haters never know that. They hit that. It would be better if they were silent because they hit that thumbs down button. I'm like, hey, boost my rankings, bro. Appreciate it. Thanks, sis. Let's take this to the moon. So yeah.
That's kind of like the fun silver lining, whether it be Facebook or YouTube, whatever. I feel like, especially when you've built a tribe, they're going to come to bat for you. And then they're going to start talking. And not that you want to have a whole long thing of drama, but sometimes you kind of just get to sit back and giggle a little bit at how it's actually helping the algorithm and helping the ranking.
I totally agree. And having a little bit of levity is definitely important, right? Like being able to laugh at the comments a little bit and even laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Because we just don't want to take ourselves that seriously, right? I mean, we all have blunders, bloopers, mistakes. And I'll admit, obviously you can't see it in this video if people are on the video, but you know, my hair is kind of the weird pompadour thing and so on and so forth in different times. And sometimes people are like, dude, like one guy, this was a funny comment. He was like, that was some really good content, but seriously, he even said, no hate, but I don't understand your hair. Hashtag vexed.
What does that mean?
Vexed means like perplexed, like stumped. Like I just completely stopped this guy dead in his tracks because of my mystifying hairstyle.
He's not going to sleep at all tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just like, dude, honey, he comes home. I saw the weirdest thing today. This white guy, you know, like, with this weird hair, you know.
Oh my God.
So it's like, you know, I don't know, like it's just, it kind of is what it is. And again, not everyone's going to like you, but they don't need to. That's life.
That is literally life. I love it. So this is absolutely amazing. Where can people go to connect with you and learn more about you? And what is next? What is in store for Sean Cannell?
Yeah, to learn more, seancannell.com is the website. And also I'm very active on Twitter if people have questions. And so that's SeanCannell. I'm thinking about changing. I thought about getting like a stage name because no one's ever going to say Cannell, right? They say Cannell. It's fine. I don't mind if people say it. Sean Cannell, spelling in the show notes, but,
yes.
But think media, is where the best tips and tools, a lot of like, hey, what camera, what lighting? We got some good videos on like smartphone accessories for about $100. You can get a light kit, a little plug-in microphone, a little desk tripod, no joke, $100 total. And you can get some gear. There's a smartphone series that we have out just to kind of level up a little bit of the production value practically. And then Video Influencers is a weekly interview show that we do with YouTubers, entrepreneurs using video, not just YouTube, but people using video. If they're crushing it, then they can be a guest on that show. And then Benji and I actually have a book coming out Q1 18. So we're pumped about that. And other than that, just tons of new videos. And then as far as a resource for people, if people really want to learn more about this, tubemasterclass.com is probably one of our best deep dive trainings, 45 minutes. So it's kind of hard in an environment like this to kind of see what we're talking about. And there, we don't just talk about it, but you really see like step by step, see the screen. You could follow along and learn some really rock solid, my 5 biggest tips for what it takes to grow your influence and your income with YouTube this year. So that's at tubemasterclass.com and a free training if people want to check that out.
Amazing. Yeah, guys, seriously, go watch that because Sean, I will say one thing about you that I think you are such an amazing teacher. You are so great at really just breaking things down, making something that looks really scary and really intimidating. So simple. You give such crystal clear step-by-step directions. So I just really appreciate that from you because I've learned so much from you about YouTube just in the last year.
Well, I appreciate that too. And I also want to just say I'm super grateful for you, Jen, and all you're doing for the world, how you're helping people, and also just like the positivity and the vibe that you're putting out into the world. We need more of that, especially lately on social media. Man, sometimes my Facebook feed, negative, complaining, defeated. And I understand people can go through hard times, but come on, let's be real,
Yeah.
people. Let's pump some positivity. So I just really want to thank you for empowering people, for helping people, for just doing everything with excellence. I'm super inspired by your work.
Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to me. I'm so inspired by you, and I'm so freaking grateful to have had you on here today. I know you just lit some fires for a lot of the people listening. So I just appreciate you, the work that you do, and how freaking big you show up in the world.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Well, guys, go and check out, what was it again? It's tubemasterclass.com.
Yep. TUBE masterclass.com.
Awesome. We will link all of that up for you guys in the show notes and give you the exact places where you can go and hang out and connect with Sean. And what I really encourage you guys to do as well is go and give him some love. If you appreciate the things that he shared with you today, go write him a post, tag him online, and let him know how much this impacted you. That is the best way to give back gratitude and really just put out some positivity into the world. So that is my little second call to action for you today.
Yes. Love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sean. I will see you